Meanwhile, here in America, Elon Musk is making headlines again after he gave million-dollar checks to two people in Wisconsin. It comes ahead of a special election for the state Supreme Court tomorrow. Musk gave the checks to two voters who signed a petition opposing, quote, activist judges. The state attorney general sued to stop the payments, but the Supreme Court decided not to block the move. That special election in Wisconsin is getting national attention, with millions of dollars pouring in from across the country. Conservative Brad Schimel is up against progressive Susan Crawford, and a lot is on the line. Joining us for more is Corey Euclid, managing editor with Ballotpedia. Corey, thank you so much for joining us. Issues of campaign finance loom over this election. How does the reported over $20 million to support former Wisconsin AG Brad Schimel and the $1 million George Soros has reportedly donated through organizations to back Judge Susan Crawford affect this local race? Is it really local?
No, it's a statewide race. And the last Wisconsin Supreme Court election in 2023 was the most expensive judicial race in American history, surpassing, I think, a 2004 Illinois state Supreme Court race. So some estimates are having total spending between the candidates as approaching $80 or $100 million. A lot of that is what we call satellite spending, outside organizations and things like that. Crawford, though, has raised about $22 million. Schimel has reported raising about $10 million. Those numbers kind of even out when you look at the comparison between what satellite groups are spending. But this is just part of a trend of Wisconsin Supreme Court races becoming extremely expensive.
Very expensive. Well, let's talk about the issues. Abortion rights has come up, with judicial candidates carefully tiptoeing the line of taking positions, which they're not supposed to do, on this issue. But Susan Crawford, who formerly represented Planned Parenthood and is endorsed by Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin, seems like a position. And Brad Schimel seems oddly quiet on this issue as well. Is he quiet because the issue fared poorly last November?
I can't really comment on why or why not he's quiet on the issue. There are two pending cases, I think, that were merged into one before the Wisconsin Supreme, or expected to come before the Wisconsin Supreme Court in the coming months. Those are about what was called a trigger law, expected to go into effect after Roe v. Wade was overturned, that banned abortion after certain stages. That was passed in 1849. It went into effect briefly for about a year after Roe v. Wade was overturned. It was thrown out by a lower court, and so the court is expected to rule on what role that 1849 law on abortion means. And so who's sitting on the Supreme Court is going to certainly be interesting. Right now, the Democrats have a 4-3 majority. Democrats or left-leaning justices, it's a nonpartisan race, have a 4-3 majority.
So you're looking at this balance of the court. How likely now, with early voting pouring in, is it that there'll be a shift?
The polls I've seen are close, and there's a tremendous amount of spending on both sides. The recent elections have favored Democrats. In the last election, 2023, the Democratic-leaning candidate won by about 10 percentage points. In fact, I think the last three elections were won by about more than 10 percentage points for Democrats. The last time a Republican won, it was a much tighter race. President Trump won the state by about a percentage point in 2024. There's a lot going on. There's a lot at play, so it could be a close race.
Well, it seems like it is, and we'll be watching it carefully. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.